Hitler used everything for the war machine. He promised everybody a Volkswagen, and there was an extra savings account for that. My father paid into it to get this Volkswagen when we win the war, which we never won. And the money is gone. They made tanks and cannons out of it. I was in the airline to Berlin, and the aircraft came over. They flew real high, and they had bombs loaded. Our windows would rattle when they fly over. You hear the humming. And then when they came home, you couldn't hear nothing. There was quiet, you just could see them in the sky. And no windows rattled, because they were empty. They loaded all their bombs to Berlin. And that was our route from Italy, from some base in Italy. We'll fly to Berlin. And we were right in the middle of Germany, right in the line. That's why I seen the airplanes from way up in the sky. I was only 9 years old in 45 when the war ended. So I didn't even make the Hitler Youth. I was kind of proud to wear those uniforms. It was something you couldn't think much of politics, you know, at 9 years old. But I never made it. Half of my class made it. They were 10 years old. They were born before, I think it was May or June in 35. So you had to be 10 years old to join. So half of my class could join the Hitler Youth. They made war games with wooden guns. They had to learn the march and everything. The war machine took everything for the war. So the Hitler Youth, they had to go with wooden guns, you know, carved out of wood, painted and put on their shoulder. They had to walk around. For me, it was impressive as a 9-year-old, but then the war ended. More or less, they prepared them for the war, which was almost over anyway.
Did your dad ever talk about World War I?
No, not much.
No?
Oh, yeah. He said once, in the old days, there weren't that many swimming pools in town or something. So most people didn't know how to swim. And he said when he got on the Russian front, they had to cross the river. And there was no bridge. It was destroyed. So the company had to stay on the river, and the cavalry came and they took horses. So he said, I couldn't swim. Most of the company couldn't swim. We had to take the horses, hold on the saddle. He said, don't let go in the middle. The horse swims you over. He said, that's the scariest moment in my life, being in the middle of that river and trust the horse. But if the horse goes down, I go with it, you know. But he said, my hand was cramped in that saddle there, to hang on to it. He said that was the scariest moment in the war. In those days, most of them was horse, cavalry and that. They had tanks, but they were ugly looking, you know. My father in the First World War, he got shot in his elbow. So his right arm, he couldn't straighten out. So in the Second World War, they didn't take him as a soldier, but he had to be in charge of the home front from the Nazi party. So he had to collect some farmers with horses and a wagon and put stones on the bridge, on the river bridge, to stop the American army or the Russian army when they come, which is stupid. All those stones on the side of the bridge, he want to block the bridge with it. But anyway, that was his job, and he had to collect for the NSDAP, for the Nazi party, the dues, you know, each month. And when the war ended, they had them on a list. There was an American officer, he was Jewish, he talked German. He came to our house and he said what he did, what his duty was as a home front in charge. So my father told him about the stones and all that. He said, what stones? There's no stones. He said, the people all took them. They made their cotton waste with it. They said, they just slowly disappeared with the little hand wagon. People took it away. They didn't last long. He said, I can't. There's a few left, big ones. He said, so that was one of them, and you collected for the party, you know. And that's all. He said, yes. He said, why did he take you in the war? You weren't that old. He said, well, because of my First World War, I got shot through the elbow. So I said, okay. And they call it Entnazifizierung. That means all the Nazis who were in the party, they had to be interviewed, see what their part was during the war. And he said, you didn't do anything but put the horse wagon with rocks there. So he wrote it down, Entnazifiziert. That means you're clear. So my father had to do nothing. And then we made coffee for him. And he looked some pictures from Japan for my brother.
Did anybody know about the concentration camps and stuff?
No, we never heard of that until I read that after 45, when they got the people who were still alive there. I've been in a concentration camp. I took an American officer there, he wanted to see it, by Munich, Dachau. And the people in the surrounding area, they heard shots fired. They know that they were shooting some people in mass graves. But they didn't know that the smoke and that, you couldn't smell it, went up in the air. That they burned the bodies. At least they say that.
Yeah,
maybe
that's
some
what
of them
they say.
knew something couldn't happen there, In 35, 36, the Germans had a chance to vote either communism or Hitler. Nobody wanted communism. So they all voted for Hitler because Hitler's speeches were like, I built up Germany, I get everybody to work. So my father was for Hitler. And then Hitler, he started the war machine. In 4 years later, he started the war. And then they fought in France, they fought in Russia, they fought in Italy, in Czechoslovakia, everywhere. Germany isn't that big to get the whole war. So my father, when I was 9 years old, he told me, he said, you know what? Hopefully Hitler does not win the war. I said, why, Dad? He said, well, you're gonna grow up to be a soldier all your life. And you're gonna be in some foreign country, in Poland or Czechoslovakia or in France, to protect German interests. And the people hate you. They cannot turn around, they stab you with a knife. He said, you want a life like that? They tried to make it clear to me for the 9-year-old why Hitler is no good to win the war. That's what he saw. He said he hoped Hitler doesn't win the war.